Hey everybody, so I kind of wanted to talk about something that I've been seeing a lot on Twitter and even when I was at the movies picking up the tickets for a upcoming screening that me and a friend of mine are going to. One of the criticisms that I've been seeing over and over and over again, when talking about the changes or talking about pretty much screaming about the changes, is that Tessa is stronger in this movie than she is in the books. And I was kind of like walking by, and there was like a group of girls who were walking by me as I was walking toward the theater. And, like they were pretty much, like one of them was trying to convince the others that this was actually a really terrible movie and, screaming about it and, like really like passionately talking about it. And one of the things that she screamed out was, like, this movie is the worst movie I've ever seen. And then like another one kind of like turned on her and said, no, it really isn't. And so, but then like when she was trying to talk about all the changes that were made, one of the first things that she said was, Tessa is strong. Tessa is weak in the books. She's strong in this movie. I mean, she said it differently than that. I mean, she said it a little bit more explicitly than that. But so I kind of wanted to talk about that because that's one of the criticisms that I've been seeing when I hear people talk about this movie. And look, I agree. I agree that Hardin should not have been softened to the way that he was. That there is actually a middle ground between the really problematic nature of the book and the SpongeBob version that I've seen like a few people use this term, but the SpongeBob, clean cut version we saw in the movie, there is a middle ground to where you can still, soften it. You can still, maybe not make it as toxic as it is in the book, but still bring through some of the things that people, still liked about the book. But with Tessa, I mean, are we really sitting here and complaining that they decided to make Tessa stronger in the movie? That she's not a weak doormat that she is in the book? I mean, that they actually decided to give her agency? I mean, let's just go through a few things that happen in the book that, that they changed in the movie. One of the main things that the book has been criticized for is that Hardin is incredibly manipulative and emotionally abusive to Tessa. He really does attempt to control all aspects of her life, getting her an internship off campus, coming in between her and her high school boyfriend, all while treating her cruelly. In the book, Hardin convincing Tessa to move in with him is more clearly a sign of his manipulation and an attempt to keep Tessa away from his friends. Everything, like the entire abuse kind of like comes to a head at the end of the book when it's revealed that Hardin's friends dared him to take Tessa's virginity. Really? I mean, like, is that what you wanted from the movie? I mean, I'm not talking to to like everybody with this, because I know that there are people out there who are okay with the changes, who do, appreciate the changes. I'm talking to the people who are so tied to the book that they even seem to think that it's a bad thing that the film gave her more agency, that the film made her stronger than she is in the book. I mean, this is a movie that I think was working overtime to remove the abusive nature of Hardin's behavior. I mean, that they were really, really, really working overtime. I mean, to the point that when he asks her out and she says no, he doesn't push it. He doesn't, try to, push himself on her. He doesn't try to, force the situation. I mean, he just says, okay, go. And one of the things that I really did appreciate about the movie, like I said, it does give her agency, a lot more agency than she does have in the book, that even when she does get consumed by Hardin in the movie, it really is all of her own choosing. that it never feels like that this choice is out of her control. Um, I mean, look, the film still does, kind of because it is in the book and they still got to, do a little bit of lip service to the book. They still do have that break in the relationship. They still have that fracturing of the relationship at the end of the movie when it is revealed that instead of basing this whole thing around a bet to take her virginity, Hardin dares himself, again, really? But he dares himself to fall in love with Tessa and then just turn off his feelings like that. Like I said in my spoiler review, I mean, one of the things that I really loved about this film is that we get to see Tessa deal with the devastation that results from hearing this. We get to see her repair her relationship with her mother. We get to see her, repair her relationship with her high school boyfriend. We get to see repair her relationship. She calls her ex high school boyfriend. We see her call him her best friend. And so, we actually get to see her start to repair those relationships. We get to see her move back into her dorm room. We get to see her, actually deciding to, change majors and actually go into something that she wants to do. Not something that her mother wants her to do, but something that she's actually interested in. And I think that one of the lessons that I think that Tessa learns in the film is that she pretty much learns about putting her trust and love in someone that she doesn't fully know yet. And even though Hardin tries to win her back, he does attempt to win her back. He writes this note or this paper for literature class. I'm not sure what they call it. I think it is literature class. And the teacher kind of gives Tessa the manila envelope. And one of the things that I loved about the film is that it does really leave that ending open-ended. It really does leave that question hanging, like, is she going to forgive him? So if they wanted to kind of, pivot back toward the book and sort of, have them kind of fight this out, have them, actually argue, maybe not wrap this up in a little bow, then the ending pretty much left it open and left it very ambiguous that they can ultimately do that if they get a second movie. One of the things that again, continuing with this change, with them deciding to make him less cruel and abusive and making Tessa a lot more independent and outspoken, it makes sense that he would want to make amends with her. It would make sense that from a character standpoint that he has that in him to even try to make amends with her. And it also is a reason why it makes, a lot of sense, like why she would even attempt, even entertain the idea of forgiving him, because like the asshole way that he is in the book, the cruel way that he is in the book, it leaves little sense why she would ever want to go back to this. I mean, and one of the things that I really did appreciate about the film is that it never excuses his behavior. It never lets him off the hook for this behavior. It never says that this behavior is okay. Like, again, even the ending, I think that that's where the ending, I think, works a little bit better. Where the ending works is that it does leave that ambiguous, because again, it doesn't just have her turn around, smiling at him, or even, putting her head on his shoulder, sort of like saying to the audience, like, hey, everything's going to be okay. Because again, we don't know where that conversation is going to go. We don't know where that, we don't know where they're going to end up. I mean, I'm sure that if they get a second movie, they will end up together. They will patch up this relationship, but it is a little bit more believable in the film that they kind of, but like I said, I am not saying, I mean, yes, I am saying that this film went way too far in the opposite direction, making him, less cruel, less abusive. I mean, I think that they did go way too far in the opposite direction. So I think that the filmmakers should have found a common middle ground to where you can please both sides of the aisle, where you can please the people who say that this is nothing but a horrendous, toxic, abusive relationship, a very problematic relationship, and then the people who kind of want to see something very similar to the book. You could have met, in this pure middle ground, but they went too far in one direction. No pun intended. They went too far in one direction that, like I said in the spoiler review, it just doesn't make sense from a character perspective to hear him turn to the camera and, do the whole dare thing. It doesn't make sense. But it does, but with a character perspective, like from a character standpoint, from the film standpoint, it does make sense that this character would want to make amends and try to patch up this relationship with her. So yeah, I mean, if you are somebody who is absolutely screaming about the fact that Tessa was made way too strong in this movie, or that's one of your criticisms, that instead of Tessa being a weak doormat like she was in the books, or in the book, because I haven't read the second, third, fourth, fifth book. I will start that pretty soon with the read-throughs. But, jump down to the comment section and let me know, what do you want? Are you really saying that you are complaining about her being too strong? That actually, that it's a bad thing that they made her stronger, more independent, more outspoken than she is in the book? So yeah, jump down in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to leave a like. Remember to subscribe. I'll see you later, Afternators. Take care.